I say I'm from Montana, but heritage-wise, I say I'm Mexican.
And I would say I'm from Houston, Texas. But it's weird because at the same time, they always give me like this look. People always give me this look like it's hard to believe that I'm from Houston, Texas.
I usually say I'm from Mexico and Texas.
When people ask me that, I don't know what to respond because I've lived in so many different places.
So they always say, where are you really from?
Like where's they want to know, I guess, like my origin or something. So then I say Mexico, but then I had to explain. But I was born in Texas.
Because I was born in Phoenix, but lived in Mexico.
I identify myself as both. I say I'm from America because that's where I was born.
But I can say that I live currently in Montana, but my parents are originally from Mexico.
My identity would be Mexican. When I go to Mexico, I don't show any trace of me being American, except for the fact that I don't gel my hair.
There are certain things I do identify myself with the Mexican culture, and certain things I do identify myself with, I guess, the American culture.
I do feel bicultural, so I know how to act in the Mexican culture and how to act in the American culture.
I don't really see that many Mexicans here, so it's like it's kind of like, even though it's the culture, the Mexican culture is part of me, in a way it's kind of like behind, like it's not that I'm trying to push it to the side, but there's no one else to share it with.
If you go for like the literal definition, it would be, someone that was born here in the United States with like either one or both Mexican parents.
I wasn't familiar with the word. I didn't know what it meant. And one of my relatives was like, so you're a Chicana? And I'm like, what's a Chicana? She's like, it's the person who was born in America, but her parents are from Mexico.
I don't like the word Chicano. I feel like it separates you from Mexico and United States.
So when I would hear the word, I would always feel so much tension, like, oh, you're a Chicana. Like, I didn't like it. It just made me feel like secluded, separated from everybody else.
I want to belong in both United States and Mexico, not separate myself.
I am very comfortable speaking in Spanish. It was my first language, that's what I grew up speaking, and that's what I continue to speak.
I mean, it was my first language, and I guess here it's a little bit difficult because there's not so many people to talk to, whereas...
But because I've been here for so long, and I don't have like that many people to practice, keep going with my Spanish, like I messed up sometimes, like I throw some Spanglish, I don't know what it's called, words.
I do feel comfortable, and it depends on the person as well. Like, if they're focusing on what I'm saying, not what I'm pronouncing. So you always get those type of people who kind of want to see the mistakes you make because maybe you have an accent.
I have not felt discrimination. I'm sure there is, but I've not really noticed any.
I wouldn't say discriminated, but I have felt the tension.
People have said some pretty cruel things, as some stereotypes.
Well, there was this one girl, and after I told her I was born in Texas, she was like really surprised. And then when some other girl from work came, and then we were talking together, and she's like, "Hey, do you know Veronica is not illegal?"
Montana, it's been interesting because by looking at me, you can't tell that I'm Mexican, but as soon as I start talking in Spanish, you can tell certain places where people don't like it or appreciate it by the way they look at you. I have struggled with my identity because I feel Mexican, but then when you tell people that you're like proud to be Mexican, they're like, but you're not because you weren't born in Mexico.
I struggled very much with my identity. I didn't know who I was and what heritage I should go with, or
I guess because of my accent, like people always see me like, you are not American, you are Mexican. I don't know. So I don't think I belong anywhere. I'm like in the limbo.
So it's like two different cultures. You have to, I want to say you have to satisfy, but you have to, I guess, embrace them and kind of benefit from both of them.